Good evening. This is a sixth video lesson on magnetic effect of current. In previous class, we have started force on a charge in a magnetic field, and we have given the expression F vector equals to Q into V vector cross B vector, and we name it as low range magnetic force. Low range magnetic force. Okay, and magnitude of this force is given as F equals to Q into velocity into field into sine theta. This is magnitude of the force, the same force which we are referring to, and the direction of this force is given by FLR, that is Fleming's left hand rule. So this rule you have already studied in class 10th as mentioned in the previous class. The rule states that stretch the first three fingers of your left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular. So look at my fingers. So left hand, they should be like this. So now the forefinger points in the direction of a field. Field is nothing but magnetic field. Central finger points in the direction of current. C stands for current. You know that current is obtained due to the drift velocity. So therefore this is current direction as well as the velocity direction. And thumb shows the direction of force. Thumb shows the direction of force. So these things we'll briefly write. Forefinger indicates field. Which field? Magnetic field. I am writing it in the bracket as B. Central finger indicates current. See the first letters of the terms, words. Central finger C, current C, forefinger F, field F. Now current is obtained due to drift velocity only, that we have studied in current electricity with an equation. Indian Navy, NaVd into E. So wherever there is a drift velocity, there is a current. If drift velocity is 0, current is also going to be 0. So the direction of current and the direction of drift velocity are same. So I am writing it as V in the bracket. Now the remaining finger is nothing but what? Thumb. So this is Thumb. Thumb is nothing but direction of force. Generally that will be written as thrust. Is nothing but force. Okay. Now as a special case of the magnitude F equals QVB sin theta, under which conditions the charged particle will experience greatest force, and under what conditions it will experience a zero force or minimum force. Okay, so that we will mention it as special cases. Special cases of force on the charge. Okay, so take up this equation F equals to Q into V into B into sin theta, where theta is the angle between velocity vector and field vector. So now this is direction of field, magnetic field. Okay, and you see here sin theta. Sin will take maximum value only when theta equals 90 degree. Sin 90 equals to 1. So the velocity vector now should be perpendicular to field vector. So like this. So this is the velocity vector. Angle between them is what? 90 degree. So force will be maximum, number 1. So F is maximum when theta equals 90 degree. So what does it imply? Theta equals 90 degree means velocity of the particle should be perpendicular to magnetic field. Rather we say the charged particle should move perpendicular to magnetic field. So I am writing here, that is the charged particle. What are the charged particles? It can be an electron, it can be a proton, it can be an alpha particle. Any particle which has got some charge. So such charged particle should move should move perpendicular to magnetic field. So this diagram you can draw here. So this is the direction of field, the direction of velocity. So F is maximum, F equals to QVB. So I give a subscript here, max. So F max equals to Q into V into B. Okay, right. Now the second case is that number 2, F is 0 when theta equals 0 degree. So in this equation, when you put theta value 0, sin 0 is nothing but what? 0. Also, if you put 180 degree here, sin 180 is also 0. So that is V is parallel to B. V is parallel to B, velocity vector. So charged particle does not experience any force when it is moving parallel or anti-parallel to magnetic field. So F is 0, that is, there is no force. Which force? There is no magnetic force. There is no magnetic force on the charged particle. If it moves parallel to the field, parallel or anti-parallel to the field. So B field, magnetic field. So F equals to QVB sin 0 degree is also equals to QVB sin 180 degree, that equals to 0. Second case. Fine? Right. Now, that means when you fire a charge in the direction of the magnetic field or in the opposite direction to the magnetic field, the charge will move as if there is no magnetic field present. But children, this will not happen with the electric field. If you fire a charge parallel to electric field also, it will take a parabolic path. That means it will experience electric force. Right. Number 3. So can you guess what is the other possibility for the force to become 0 from the equation QVB sin theta? From equation QVB sin theta, now we will not make theta 0, rather we will make V 0. Making V 0 means what? Velocity of the particle is 0, particle is at rest. So if you place a charged particle at rest in the magnetic field or a stationary charged particle in the magnetic field does not experience any force. So third one, F is minimum or F is 0 if the charged particle is at rest in the field. Which field? Magnetic field, not electric field. In electric field, definitely it will experience a force given by F equals to charge Q multiplied by electric field E. Okay, so that is a stationary charge, does not experience magnetic force. So in the equation, if you write F equals to QVB sin theta, now I write Q into 0 into B into sin theta, whatever be the angle. There is no meaning of angle. When it is at rest, you cannot discuss anything about the angle. So this entire thing will become what? 0. So these are the 3 cases, children. Remember, 1 mark question में ये बहुत important है. Right. For example, we have a field here in the plane of the board. So I am creating this uniform magnetic field in the plane of the board. Can you tell me how can I create this uniform magnetic field? by passing a current through a solenoid or a toroid. Toroid will produce a uniform circular magnetic field, whereas a solenoid will produce a linear uniform magnetic field. So obviously this type of field is because of the solenoid. When a current passes in the solenoid along the axis of the solenoid, you have the magnetic field V equals mu naught into I into N. Right. So into such a magnetic field now, what I am doing, children, I am firing a charge Q with a velocity V. So this is my charged particle Q. Let me take it as a proton. So this proton has got mass. How much? 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. This approximately we will take it as 1 atomic mass units. Nowadays it is now in modern symbols, it is called as 1 unified mass, 1 U. Such a charged particle which carries a charge Q equals to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Such a particle I am firing. Okay. So now firing means I am giving the velocity V like this. Now let us apply Fleming's left hand rule to understand the motion of this charged particle in the magnetic field. Okay. Right. So stretch first 3 fingers of your left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular. Then 4 fingers shows the direction of field. So this is the direction of my magnetic field. So I am stretching my 4 finger parallel to field. Now central finger shows the direction of current. Current is due to flow of positive charges, let us say. In the direction in which positive charges move, in the same direction, current direction will be there. So if proton is a positive charge moving upwards means current also is moving in the upward direction. So my central finger will go up like this. And now this is my thumb. How is thumb? Thumb is pointing normal to the plane of the board. That means as soon as this particle enters into the magnetic field, it will drift in a direction perpendicular to its velocity. So it will go inside. So it will go inside and then it will come out. So half of the circle will be back side of the board and half of the circle will be front side of the board. So it will continue to move in a circular path like this. So when it is moving in a circle, remember the speed will remain constant. This is a uniform circular motion because the equation tells you that F equals to QV cross B. So here 3 vectors are there: force vector, velocity vector and field vector. So in vectors we have studied in class 11th that A cross B equals to C, a third vector, which is perpendicular to A, which is perpendicular to B, which is perpendicular to plane of A and B. Okay, so not necessarily that A and B should be always perpendicular, but whatever be the angle between A and B, other than 0 and 180 degree, C will always lie perpendicular to A and B. So therefore, now my force F will be perpendicular to velocity, will be perpendicular to field. So a force acting perpendicular to the motion, a force acting perpendicular to the velocity of an object will compel that object to move in a circular path. So therefore, our Lorentz force QVB will now make this charged particle Q, that is a proton, to move in a circular path. So half circle is inside and half circle is what outside. So this circle appears to be in the plane of the board. Don't think, children, like that. It is just like this. So half of this is behind and half of this is towards me. So rather it could be like this. I will try to give a clear picture. Maybe like this. So this dotted line will be behind the board and the solid line is on the plane of the board. Okay, right. So now you know very well that for a body to move in a circular path, it should always be provided with a force that is called what? Centripetal force. So therefore, now our magnetic Lorentz force will take a new form, will take a new name, okay, known as centripetal force. Centripetal force is not a basic force, children. We have only 4 forces in the nature as basic forces, which we have studied in class 11. One is gravitational force, which was discovered by the scientists at the beginning. Then electromagnetic force. Then what? Strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force. Okay. So this strong and weak nuclear force cannot turn out to be centripetal forces. But among the remaining two forces, that is gravitational force and the electromagnetic force, sometimes what will happen, these two forces can take some other name like centripetal force. So now our magnetic Lorentz force will be called as a centripetal force. So what will happen to the particle when it is given with centripetal force? It has to move in a circular path. So the F, comma, which is perpendicular, using the symbol perpendicular to V, right, compels the particle to move in circular path. Now rather magnetic force becomes a CPF, centripetal force which always makes the particle to move in a circle, or whose direction is always pointing towards the center. Okay. Now centripetal force expression, do you remember? Centripetal force F equals to mv square by r. What is m? Mass of the charged particle. Remember children, every charged particle will have the mass. You cannot imagine any charged particle without mass. Where there is a charge, there is a mass. Proton, electron, deuteron, neutron, alpha particle, anything. Okay, right. So m is mass of the charged particle, v is the velocity with which it is moving, r is the radius of the circle. Where is the circle? This is the circle. So obviously this will become its radius, r. So here is the radius r. So who is taking this form? Magnetic force only is taking form. Now what is the angle between, as per this diagram, what is the angle between field and velocity? Field is like this, velocity is like this. So the angle is how much? 90 degree. So when it is 90 degree, this will be QVB sin theta. Theta equals 90 degree. So it will become sin 91. So it is QVB. So this is QVB. I am writing here. F is nothing but QVB equals to mv square by r. Now velocity cancels on both sides. Now I am trying to find out what would be the radius of the circular path in which the particle is moving. So r will come to the left side, mv will be on the left side only, r will come to left, mv is on the right side, so qb will go down. This is one of the important equations in magnetic effect of current. Okay. Now basing on this equation only, we have designed a particle accelerator named as cyclotron. Unfortunately children, this year cyclotron is deleted from the syllabus. One of the easiest question where you can score easily 3 marks just by drawing some diagram, mentioning the principle and deriving this equation, you will get what, 3 marks. Okay, no problem. But as such, cyclotron is deleted from the syllabus. You cannot forget all these things to study. No, you have to study all of them. Okay, because these equations have connectivity in the further topics. So what is R, children? R is nothing but radius of circular path. Radius of circular path. Why the charged particle is moving in a circular path? Because the magnetic force is acting perpendicular to velocity. Does the magnetic force always act perpendicular to velocity? Yes. If at all it experiences a force, if at all the particle experiences a force, that force is always perpendicular to velocity vector. This is a rule, it's a commandment. There is no amendments in this rule. Okay, right. Now you know that mass into velocity is nothing but the momentum. Momentum symbol is what? P. So therefore, this can be expressed as R equals to P divided by QB. This is also one of the equations. Okay, right. Now sometimes the questions will be based on the kinetic energy. A charged particle is fired with a velocity V, no problem, you can use. A charged particle is fired with a momentum P, you can use this. Sometimes a charged particle is fired with some kinetic energy K. So therefore, we have to convert the momentum into kinetic energy. Okay, but kinetic energy, I am discussing all these things in view of the numericals which will appear in the board examination, also in the competitive examinations. But kinetic energy K equals to half mv square. So this I will write as half into mv whole square divided by m. This we have seen in class 11th also. Mass into velocity is momentum. So p square by 2m is kinetic energy. Therefore, momentum equals to 2 times the kinetic energy multiplied by mass under root. So then your equation will become the radius r equals to root over 2km whole divided by qb. So remember these three equations. If you remember one equation, you can produce the remaining two equations. R equals mv by qb, r equals p by qb, r equals root over 2km by qb. Okay, right. Now, so if it experiences a force given by QEB, which is nothing but a centripetal force, and because of which it will move in a circular path of radius mv by qb or p by qb or root over 2 km by qb, how much time does it take to complete one revolution? So that is called what? Time period. So now time period is nothing but time taken by this, time taken by the charged particles to complete one circle. To complete one circle or one round, let me write. So it is moving with uniform speed. Class 9 they have studied uniform circular motion. Speed is nothing but what? Distance divided by time. Distance is nothing but 2 pi r in one round divided by capital T. So V equals to 2 pi r divided by capital T, where capital T is a time period. Therefore, capital T, now I am trying to find it out. So I am bringing it towards left side, 2 pi r by V. Now let me substitute the value of r there, 2 pi r by V, right. So this equation will become T equals to 2 pi into, my r is nothing but mv by qb, mv by qb. Okay, so 2 pi r I have written. In the denominator still there is velocity remaining. So velocity and velocity will be cancelled. So T equals to 2 pi m divided by qb. This is one of the important and interesting expression, children. Time period does not depend on the velocity of the charged particle with which it is projected into the field. Whether you give a 50 km per second speed with the help of a rifle, or you throw with your hand with a speed of 10 km per second, or you increase the speed by some other projections to 100 km per second, the time period in all these cases will remain same. So this equation tells you that time period is independent of velocity of the charged particle. Velocity of charged particle. So on what factors it depends? It depends on the mass. For example, I have an electron and I have a proton. Both of them have the same charge. Electron carries minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Proton carries plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So magnitude wise both the charges are equal. Okay, but masses of these two particles are not same. Electron is 1837 times lighter as compared to proton. Proton is a heavy particle, 1837 times heavier than. So therefore, in such case what will happen? As Q is same for both the particles and both of them are moving in the same magnetic field. So Q is going to be a constant, B is going to be a constant, 2 pi is readily a constant. Then what? The time period will be decided by mass of the particle. More is the mass of the particle, more will be the time period from this equation. So therefore, proton will take a longer time to complete the circular path. Let us say proton moves slower than the electron. So these are the questions which you can expect in the board examination, because now there are MCQs and one word answers for 20 marks, which are very, very dangerous. Unless you are very precise about the answer, you cannot score marks. Okay. Earlier it was not like that. If you write something like you are using this equation to conclude your answer. Okay. Previous year pattern I am telling, 2018 and 19. So at least you are using equation related to that answer. So we used to award you half mark. But MCQ में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ABCD में जो कौन सा ऑप्शन करेक्ट है उसको मार्क्स देते हैं, जो गलत है वो 0 है. So whether you have used some equations or not, who will see? There is no weightage for your working out on the margin, right? So you should be very careful when you are attempting the MCQs. Fine. So time period is independent of velocity of charged particle. Then obviously you may get a doubt. Sir, if I give a more velocity, it will move in the circular path with more velocity, so it has to take less time. So obviously, now the time period is dependent on the velocity. More is the velocity, less is the time period. Okay, it's not like that, children. So if this is the field, I have given a charge q, a small velocity v. So it will go like this. For example, to the same charged particle q, now I doubled the velocity. If it took say 2 seconds to complete one circle, because doubling the velocity it will not take now 1 second, it will take 2 seconds only. So why it will take 2 seconds means it will go in a circle of bigger radius. So this equation is very vital now. R equals to mv by qv. If your charge is constant, v is constant, mass of the particle is also constant, radius is directly proportional to velocity. More is the velocity you will give, more is the radius it will take. That means it will move in a circular track of a bigger radius. So obviously, with a large velocity, when it is moving in a circle of bigger radius, it will take the same time as it was moving in a circle of smaller radius with smaller velocity. So therefore, we conclude that the time period of a charged particle is independent of its velocity in the magnetic field. What are the other things that matter means its mass will matter. Okay, magnitude of the charge will matter. Fine. Now, last year in 2020, your seniors which they wrote the examination, this generally we do not discuss in the class. This is the magnetic field. This is the magnetic field. So B. Okay. Instead of firing it perpendicular to the field, now what I do, children? I give some angle. This is called oblique projection, which you have learned in class 11th, oblique projectile. So I have given a velocity v like this. So then what will happen? This velocity can be resolved into components. Let me take this angle is what, theta? Not theta, let me take it as alpha. Okay. So diagram is clumsy. Right. So Q, velocity V. So now I am resolving into components. So this angle, okay, theta only because we are using theta in the Lorentz force. So this is theta, and this will become V cos theta parallel component, and this will become V sin theta perpendicular component. Okay, right. As far as this parallel component or horizontal velocity is concerned, V cos theta is also known as horizontal velocity here. Okay. So as far as this is concerned, horizontal velocity, suppose this is some 100 meter per second speed I have given. Okay. So that this will become 8 meter per second, and say this will become 6 meter per second. Okay. So this is 10 meter per second, let me take. So I project a charged particle into the magnetic field at some angle, with a speed of 10 meter per second. When I resolve this into components, my horizontal component value has become 8 meter per second and vertical value has become 6 meter per second, because root over 8 square plus 6 square is nothing but 64 plus 36 under root, so 100 is nothing but what, 10. So this is equation correct. Okay, right. Now this angle I can find out. I am not interested now. So this velocity 8 meter per second is parallel to the field. We discussed in the special cases that if a charged particle is moving parallel to the magnetic field, it does not experience any force. It moves as if there is no force, there is no field existing. So this component will help the charged particle to move in the horizontal direction. Clear? Right. Now you take the 6 meter per second velocity. How is it? It is perpendicular. Whenever a charged particle moves perpendicular to the magnetic field, it experiences a maximum force given by QVB, and that force, as it is perpendicular to the velocity, it will compel the particle to move in circular path. So therefore, the perpendicular component V sin theta will help the particle to move in a circular path, and the horizontal component will help the particle to move in a straight line. So therefore, the combination of these two paths is nothing but helix. So now your charged particle, it will try to move in a circle because of this V sin theta. So if V cos theta is absent, it would have come back here. But V cos theta is very much present. So it will pull it in the horizontal direction. So therefore, it cannot come back to the original position, and it starts going like this. Right. So when velocity is perpendicular to the field, children, total velocity, if the charge is fired perpendicular to the field, no doubt it will move in a circular path. But if velocity is taking some angle, oblique projection if you make, then it cannot make in the circle, rather it will move in a helical path. So this is known as what? Helix. Combination of linear motion and circular motion is nothing but what? Helical path, and this is known as what? Helix. Like a spring. Clear? So this was 1 mark question. A charged particle is fired at an angle into the magnetic field other than 0, 180 and 90. Okay. So what is the path of the charged particle in the field means? Higher spiral path, helical path, circular path, okay, straight line. There is a confusion between spiral and helical. Spiral means this is spiral, children. This is spiral. And if this is only circular,